Well, 3, 2, 1. Welcome in. Welcome into the world's famous Billions Watched. We're on multiple platforms at this point. We're live here on TikTok. We're also available on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, and also on YT at Joe Lobo Presents. I welcome you guys in. It's been a while. I mean, shouts out to Big L Coffee. It's been a while, but I think the cadence is doing this once a week. So every 5 days we will eventually do a podcast. I mean, it's one of the things where I don't want to inundate everyone where I'm doing podcasts every day. That'd be hard and challenging to do, given how life can get crazy. You know, like I've been mentioning to you all, like, for example, the month of November was freaking hectic because of the fact of, like, my brother was over in the United States taking care of our responsibilities. And then also too, as well, like, you know, it made you realize like how important it is to garner your time. So, oh my goodness, it's crazy because before I go live, I have this cough and it's wild. I don't know, something's stuck in my throat, but whatever. But we're still gonna go move forward. So, it's now December. We did have a live back in December. Was it December 3rd? I think it was. Since then, as you can see, we changed a little bit stuff. Now Apple Podcasts may not be able to see this, but Spotify and YT will. And then also too, you'll see the recaps here on here on TikTok as well. We did change a little things. So I think most of you guys know are well aware of what I've been doing for the past, what I've been building to for the past like month. I think it's about a month. And it's easy to say at this point is, honestly, it wasn't really a sustainable solution to work just off your phone, if you know what I mean. So like, it's great and all. I mean, it has led me a lot, essentially it has led me this far to get to where we are right now, going live on my phone, doing my content on my phone. And it wasn't a problem like that. As you can see, my uploads are always specifically the TikTok uploads. There will still remain to be the TikTok uploads. Excuse me. But we had to change up. And this is where I always mention to you all, like, as an example of me to you, for example, if like, at some point when you are going to level up, this also means your quality levels up. Just like, let's reminisce from the beginning of this stuff. Like even before we actually transitioned to who we are now, Joe Lobo. Joe Lobo Presents the Authentic Podcast back at the end of July. Even if we go further back, when we first started, we started with just the camera, with my phone, with nothing. And then you realize like, okay, this is how I sound like and this is where it's important, where you have to look at your recaps to see like, okay, well, what do I sound like? And it led to piece by piece, right? We started going live on our phone, and believe me, like I tell everyone, it's not like, if people think that this like how I am right now, where I can literally talk to you like as I can make a cat moo. And I always say it a lot. It's taken a lot at this point to be where I'm at. So like when I say that, essentially when I first started, it was challenging, to be honest with you. Imagine going on the mic when you have no guarantee that no one's watching you. And I bet you there's probably tons of people watching you in FYP right now, or even listening to your podcast. But just like, even when the beginning of this journey, like where no one's watching you and you had to consistently talk because of the fact of this, like who the heck is going to come into your life? Who the fuck's going to go into your life if like they see you and you don't say anything? I mean, so for some individuals, that's fine. But like if you're going to the position that I am, where like, you're a podcaster, you got to keep on talking, right? So that's always been the practice. I mentioned that many times on my podcast, where just like, you have to work on it. You have to build. You have to consistently go over and over and over to the point where like, where it's second nature to you, right? So, building that, and also to like, I remember back and then where like I was doing, this is the tie into it, like where I was doing the shorts, or I was doing the minute clips or whatnot, where I was doing the cinematics, and that led to the daily authentic. I remember those people back then where I was connected to. Some of them, we lost relationships. I don't know what the heck they're doing now, But when I was starting the beginning, and like, shouts out to people who are following like Brandy Sharp. A lot of those people are the ones who like I initially started with. I started with folks I follow with Brandy Sharp. So you don't know who Brandy Sharp is, I highly suggest you find her on TikTok or even on professional pages. You can probably find her at this point. But basically, when I became a regular and I showed them how I like, told them my dynamic, my story here in the Philippines. Basically, the question is always, Joe, when are you gonna go live? And I was like, and I was like the individual, like, excuse me. I was the individual just like, I wanted to make it perfect, like this, what we're doing now. And mind you, I did try to do this in the beginning. This is like a year ago, or no, not a year ago. Actually, I was trying to start it, I think, back in February. Because like the actual journey of us starting this live and starting this conversation was actually in February, March, to be honest with you. And this is where like people were asking me, Joe, when are you gonna go live? When are you gonna go live? This and this and that. And then I was more of the individual, and I think most of you know me at this point, where like I'm very detailed oriented. Like quality matters to me, because like obviously one of the things that will help allow you to retain individuals from listening to you is your quality. Let's be honest here. Like, I mean, your quality, Wasabi, welcome in, brother. How are you? Your quality is important, because like this is how sometimes for existing viewers, it's an added plus for them. But for newer viewers who don't know who you are, quality is important. Mommy Joy, welcome in. I see you. Thank you for the heart. Me appreciate you. So I remember then, and this is where we started before, where like, for example, I was worried. I was thinking about this, and I told you, like, use AI. Like, for example, before I was actually using AI. Hi, Mommy Joy. But the problem was the resources weren't there. I was in the province house where our internet reception wasn't that great. I was on my MacBook. It didn't have the resources available to actually, hey Shay Twinkle, to actually do what we're doing now. So what did we do? Like everyone else here on TikTok, you start off with your phone. And then what it led to there is like, for example, I started going on my phone. And back then, I told folks before, when I was not Joe Lobo, but when I was actually Joe Lobsterroll. we can go down the pipeline why we names ourselves Joe Lobsterroll. And if you're a real one, you've been with me for a while, then you probably remember the organic hour. But anyway, I went live. And it was always back then, I was usually the individual where I was saying to people like, oh, I'm a faceless creator. I don't need to show my voice. My content's important, blah, blah, blah. So like when I actually went live, for example, where I wouldn't show my face in the beginning. And then I put something up where like, in a sense where, you have to give me at least 10,000 likes or 5,000, like, I think it was 5,000 likes. I said 5,000 likes and I'll turn around the camera on my phone so I should reveal my face. So, there were many times where I reached that. And then like, I think back then I was only going live for like 20, 30 minutes, but that was the start of it. Right. And then here comes like people I knew mutually where they're coming to me like, hey, Joe, dude, I love your content, blah, blah, blah. And there's always one person, shouts out to him, Everyday Poppy. If he's still around, I saw him like a couple weeks back, but if he's still around, he's probably the one of the individuals who allowed me to get to the point I'm at right now. He would always come at the right times where it felt as if I had to elevate. And this is what I mean. So like he would look at my content, even when I was starting first as, the motivational speaker post. You can look in if you ever go to my TikTok page, you can scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll see my daily authentic posts that I would do. Like they would range from, I don't know, like 3 minutes to 8 minutes. That's how we started. So he would always come at the right times. He was like, hey, bro, honestly, I love your content. I love your authenticity, blah, 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 from your daily authentic. But bro, can you make like a minute? And then, the thinking about that stuff. And I'm just like, wow, I should elevate and change it, because given how we are in TikTok, yeah, I agree. The attention span is small. Like you can only catch people who are going to like it for maybe only, I don't know, like they'll probably watch the first minute and after that they get bored. To be honest with you. And this is where the evolution of me happened, where like, you know, I started changing from the daily authentic to actually going live, posting shorts, doing posts, and then like my lives would keep on growing, I guess you can say. And then that's where we turned into like the lead to like where we are right now. We're a podcaster right now. So basically, when it led from that, this is where I started listening to. This is first. It was okay. I want to go live. I sound fine. However, I want to put my music together. Because back then, I'll be honest, like if you watched me for this long, I was the individual with the speaker in my hand and putting it on my phone. And then it was good for a while. But the interesting thing of all of this is this. You listen to your review, like your recaps. Because like, you know, after every live here on TikTok, obviously, and like, you know, for Spotify and Apple Podcasts, if you didn't know, after you do a live, you get a recap, you get a video that you can watch of everything that happened in your broadcast or whatnot. And then I would listen to them like, man, it sounds like shit. Like you can hear like the music is like over, like, you know, obviously what I mean, like where if you're listening or putting it to a mic and it sounds so super distorted or like it sounds overbearing, you know what I mean? And then that led to basically, you know, even before that led to basically thinking about putting a mixer together. But now here goes again, like I'm still using my phone and my speaker to play music and putting it like this, putting my phone to the speaker to play the music. And then here comes the same guy, the Everyday Poppy. Damn, bro, I love your content, man. But like, I think you should get a mic. And then what do you think happened? Like, dude, I went to so many versions of this where, you know, and, you know, mind you, starting the journey of this. And then I have a lot of people say otherwise. Like I went for, you know, in TikTok shop, everyone, there is a kit there where essentially you can buy everything. It comes with a mixer, a mic, and a boom mic stand, if you know what I'm talking about. 600 pesos. So folks who are listening who are outside the Philippines, I think that equates to $5, $4, more or less. So it was inexpensive, you know, get your starter off to see if you like, because like, you know, for me, I'm not an individual to spend so much money if like I'm not sure if this is something I want to do. So like, why am I going to put money in investment? And there's been a lot of people who like, you know, who are much as in their content and what they do. Like for example, one is a singer and she told me like, you should just bought this in the beginning. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, that's not me. Like I'm never a type of individual to buy the expensive shit first, because of the fact of what if you don't like it? You know what I mean? So if you don't like it, and you're just wasting your money at the end of the day. So, okay. So that one, I think it was 600 pesos, 5 stars on TikTok shop. So yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and buy it. So what ended up happening, Sir Buck, welcome in. How you doing? As soon as I got it, I plugged it in and it sounded like shit. It literally sounded horrible. The mixer was terrible. I threw it in the garbage can because it's just like, oh my god, this is what it sounds like, the mixer. Are you kidding me? And it's funny because like that's the things you gotta be careful on TikTok shop too, because like I don't think it's regulated as in quality. You know, if you buy something that's 5 stars, gotta be careful, gotta review it to make sure that it is something that's worth buying. Well, you know, I didn't look at reviews elsewhere. I was like, okay, I'm just taking the 5 stars. There's a lot of people saying it's 5 stars, it's great, blah blah blah. And then I remember that it was just like, it was terrible. But here goes my friend who led all this, like, bro, you need to get a mic, man, so people can hear you. So what I ended up doing, bought my first mic. I did have that mic. I did have another mic. There was a USB mic that connected directly to my phone. It was great. I remember going on like people's lives and then using it. And it was perfect. And then here goes me like elevating my brand. Like at one point where I was doing the speaker to my phone to play my music, and that changed to, okay, I have a plug-in mic. I still have it for the day right now. I gave it to my and here's the funny shit. I hand all the stuff that I no longer use to my older brother for the intent that he will probably use it one day. And it's funny because like he has his own podcast, so hopefully he uses the stuff I use. I send him. There's actually my first There's actually my last mic, not this mic, but the mic before. It was the early entry level mono mic, the TR360. It's still waiting for him. He could use it, and he has an old mixer as well. But anyway, what I'm saying is, like, had the better mic. I was using that, and then but I was still doing mic to speaker, and then that led to, for example, okay, listening to my reviews, my recordings. Oh my god, it sounds like shit. It still sounds terrible, and that led to my next setup, which was basically, the TNW F26 with the TR360 from Maono, the very entry level mic. Hey, it did great. It did exactly what it's supposed to do. At the end of the day, I wanted it to play and integrate my music, the music you're hearing right now, integrate my music into my lives so I can manage it better, so I sound a little bit more professional, right? And that did great. It led me to wonderful feats. It led me to a growth base. It led me to where we are right now. It led me to where we are right now, where basically, I think I kept using it until July to August, right? To September. I don't know. It was one of them, but I mean, we used it for a good time. It was durable. It did well. I shared it with individuals who were like, they're the ones who kind of led this off, I guess you can say, this journey, where they're the ones that told me, like, hey, you need to show your face, right? You want to be this, like, the individual. I don't talk to them anymore. Hope they're doing well, but basically, like, they're the ones that led me off to this. They're the ones that said, oh, you need to show your face. Okay, show my face. And then that led to the bridging the gap, being part of a collab of some individual, even though it was like a midnight, 1 o'clock, whatever it was, but just getting the feeling of talking to people where, like, people were actually listening to you. And that branched off to one thing. And then, the TNW F26 was great. I actually offered and shared it to another individual who, in my eyes, I felt like she had a great path. Whether she decides to take it now or not, that's really up to her. I don't talk to the individual anymore. I hope she's doing the best, but I don't talk to her anymore. But I mean, that's another thing I'd say, like, just a segue before that. And I mentioned this many times. Like, people come and go in your life, and I'll say this real quick. People come and go in your life. It's just because of the fact of where you are in life. Hopefully come back later down the road, but that's being honest. That's what happens when you're progressing. Now, going back to the story where, like, I had the TNW F26, and then I still have the TR360 I have. And then one day I was looking on TikTok, and I was like, let me see how much the stuff I really want to buy. Which, I know everyone was using yours. Hi, yours. How are you? Everyone was using the Monocaster 2. Thank you for the harmony of yours. Welcome in. Everyone's using the Monocaster. I knew everyone's using the Monocaster 2. Many singers, many podcasts I ran into, they were using it. They had the better mic. They had, wow, yours. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the finger hearts, the roses. Uh-oh, she's going off. Thank you. Hope you like the animation. I always had it in and she's going out. Thank you so much, yours. I appreciate filling my cup. Everyone had it. I know. And I had it in my, oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Everyone had it. So I always had it in my TikTok, checkout. Always wanted to get it. There's been always a plan to get there. And then until one day I looked at the price, I was like, wow, this is something I can afford. And I started thinking about, okay, well, what is my future of this? Am I serious about this? Thank you, yours. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the gifts. Hope you loved all those animations I did. You're awesome. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, so, like, I checked the price one day and I was like, wait, this is actually affordable. It's decent, right? It didn't cost, yeah, I mean, you're paying a little bit more for a premium for better equipment. So, like, this one is a little bit more. I think I ended up, wow, here goes the roses. She's getting hooked in the sound. Thank you, yours. It was, I think I bought it. It was like, I think the regular price was like 5,000 pesos. So like about $100. And then, with all discounts and everything, it led to, what did it lead to? It led to basically, I think it was like 4,600 pesos. So like 85, 90 bucks. So because TikTok was giving me a discount, I was like, okay, let's go buy it. So we did it. And then, I was thinking about it, like, okay, well, and this is first, I did buy the mixer, and then like, I think I had the same mic, the Maono PM3, was that TR360, my last one. And then basically I was using it. I had the new mixer and I was using the mic, and this is the things about quality where you start hearing yourself and you're, okay, what is this crackling noise I'm hearing when I'm talking? And I was like, okay, I have a better mixer. And then now, I have a better mixer, and then I was just like, okay, well, I have to change my mic. And then because of the fact of, you can still hear the popping noise from the microphone. So like you can hear the output. Everything sounded better. My music sounded better. My talking sounded better. Actually, believe it or not, there was a boost into the mic now. There was a boost from the original mic. So it was much louder on using this mixer I'm using right now with the old mic I had. And then that led into another purchase, which was this, a P200X, the Mono P200X. By the way, if you're ever curious, this is available on my TikTok shop. All the things I use, every single thing that I use on this podcast, with the exception of the computer, is available on my TikTok shop. So if you're ever curious of what I'm using and what I'm using currently right now with the lighting I'm using, the mixer I'm using, the microphone, etc., it's all available on my TikTok shop. But anyway, that led to buying this. And then it sounded great. It sounded awesome. I was on my phone. I had no problems with it. Like my podcast was flourishing. Like the connections you make with people, it was even better because of the quality of your quality you're using on the mic. And I get a lot of accolades from people, like as in like, man, you sound great. You sound like a DJ. You sound like you're meant to do this. Like, and that's great. And here's a creature, like for me as a creature and of who wants to consistently, better themselves or better their quality. This led to, waiting for the day that, okay, here's my plan of what I want to do. I don't want long-term, it's not sustainable to do these on your lives, to be honest with you, on your phone, right? You're so limited on your phone unless you get something somehow, some way that you can record at a better quality. I mean, obviously, like there was always in my mind, okay, this is what we're going to get to, where eventually, like, for example, we would be using, like, for example, TikTok Live too. However, at that point, it was not available for Mac. So I couldn't use it. I had to find solutions what I want to do. And this is where, I think probably about a month ago, I started thinking about the future. I started thinking about, okay, how serious are we with this podcast? For me as an individual who always talks about quality, right? When we always talk about quality, okay, what's our next step here? And then this is where it kind of picked off, as I mentioned, this kind of picked off as well, where we're just like, okay, I'm doing great on the other platforms. Like the first platform I'm on with my podcast, Spotify, the numbers were low. That's fine. But like, in my mind, those numbers are huge. Like, shoot, like 30 people following me on Spotify and 200 plus people who overall watch me. And the amount of people, like, this is amazing. When you look at analytics to find out, okay, what is the demographics of the people who watch you and where are they coming from? And seeing multiple countries looking at you and listening to you. Wow. And that's where, like, I kept on doing it. I kept on doing these podcasts. I kept on loading up onto Spotify. I kept on doing it. And then it came to a point where I figured out, like, this is the amazing thing. Spotify offers you to generate an RSS feed. So if you don't know what an RSS feed is, basically is this. It allows you to share your data, all your content, whether it's your episodes, your descriptions on your page, etc. You're able to share it to other partners, other platforms, and which one of them was Apple Podcasts. I mean, there was another one too. I never checked the analytics for it, but I'm also on another platform. It's Amazon Music, Audible. But you know where I'm going to. Or basically, when basically, like, having this RSS feed enabled a lot of stuff to happen. So during that time, and it's funny too, because during that time, yeah, I had RSS feed. I was trying to get to Apple Podcasts. Nothing was working. I was stuck into, and I think I mentioned this before. I mentioned this, how long it took me to get into Apple Podcasts, and the problems, the challenges I had and whatnot, like how it took me a bit to figure out how to even get there, because I had so many issues until using ChatGPT to give me the nuggets, the idea. Okay, what's wrong with your account? Why can't you use it? And it came to be a simple error with my Apple ID, my personal Apple ID, where it ended up me changing that to an actual, I guess you could say this is a business now, to a business account, where it was just because of a user ID, or for example, it delayed me to get to Apple Podcasts. Mind you, I always believe the universe is not going to allow you to get ready until you're actually ready to get in there. And you know what I mean? Like, it won't put you in a certain, like, sometimes it will, but like, if you're in a position where you actually believe what you're going to be, and this is why, you know, if you catch me when I go to these lives, right? When I always say, welcome to the world's famous billions watch here on these platforms, I really mean it. When I meditate, I see all this, I visualize. There's even people that talk to me like, hey bro, I have this vision that you're going to be doing this. Like, people who are very spiritual, just like me, and people who've said like, this is going to be successful. You should follow your instinct to keep on going. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, I always believe that the universe is going to put you in a situation where, like, okay, when you're ready for it, we'll open the doors and you can start doing it. So it wasn't until, like, you know, for example, I think it was like, I've been trying mining. I was trying, I think this was probably back in October, where I was trying to figure out okay, what is causing me to not get into Apple Podcasts? And it came to find out it was my Apple ID. Changed that, set one up. I ended up me changing my email address to a business account, which is, it's related to my, you know, the Authentic Podcast. So when I was enabled to fix all that stuff, I was on Apple Podcasts. And this is where it was amazing. Like, and you know, I thought I was doing well on Spotify. I mean, who can tell you, who are people you know can say like, I'm on Spotify, I have X amount of followers, blah, 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 blah. No, that's amazing. But wow, the reception on Apple Podcasts per episode, mind you, it was crazy. Like, mind you, I've been on Spotify since, I think, how long? I think since August, right? I think since August. And I only have like maybe views wise around 200 plus views, but I have 30 followers. So there are people watch it. I don't know if the analytics are straightforward on Spotify, but here's the crazy stuff. I only been on Apple Podcasts for only a month. I'm almost near 500 views. Each episode, the recent episodes, I think probably the last 10 are averaging, and this is, mind you, just for the numbers of where I'm starting, right? For the numbers where I'm starting, it's huge for me. I celebrate, like, I have like 26 followers or subscribers or whatever you want to call them on Apple Podcasts. I'm almost near 500 views. That's a lot. For me, that's freaking a lot. And then averaging, the last 3 episodes are averaging more or less like 70 to 80 views. So there's people actually watching it. Again, analytics will tell you it's based upon folks who like actually click on it, watch it. I don't know how long they're watching it. I think when I have more details, because like I think Apple Podcasts will provide it to you. Maybe it's when I sign, and I did something today where we're one more step closer to something in Apple Podcasts. But I mean, basically, the reception there was like, you know, this is what pushed it even further. We're just like, okay, I'm seeing there's a lot of people watching me on Apple Podcasts. I should do something about that. So like, you know, that led to me thinking about, okay, what should I do as my future? And I talked about this before, where I'm leading to an Apple Podcast, where just like actually setting up a page, I'll probably do some priority stuff there because it's going to be related to a subscription level program over there, which that's kind of the idea if you think about it. But that's where, like, once we actually get that in motion, the priority goes to Apple Podcasts first. So whatever I do here, the first people that will see it outside of TikTok is going to be Apple Podcasts, because of the fact of, like, you know, the ones who actually subscribe to me and actually like, are, actual supporters who subscribed in that way. Got to give them priority. And then that leads to like specific Apple Podcasts directly for that platform. Thank you so much for care. I appreciate you. That we will, have to cater them first, and then everything else is after. So like what I mean is that we'll post first. I think the vision or plan is post first in Apple Podcasts, then Spotify, then YT. So that's where we are now. We're just like now recent as in the platforms we're on, and just we're doing well. And then that's where the thought of, okay, I might as well, since I'm already on Spotify, since I'm already on Apple Podcasts, also too, I'm here on TikTok, obviously. I should just put myself back on YT. Mind you, it's funny because I do have a YT account, my first YT account. It was tied to my old content before. Supreme D, thank you so much for the heart. We appreciate you. It was my old content before when it was related to the cinematics I did. It was the the daily authentic posts I did. It's there if you want to take a look at it. I think it's Joe Lobster Roll's World on YT. You can find it there if you can search for it. But basically that has all my old stuff. Now the funny stuff about that, because I was going to bring it back up, I was going to update it to make it more relevant to what I am now. I lost the password. I lost the password to the account, and also too I lost the access to the email address it was tied to. So it could have been the universe that specifically were just like, nah, you can't use that, bro, anymore. You gotta use something different. You gotta use something that's brand new, or is essentially like, it makes more sense for you to Supreme D, you hit it. Thank you for the glow sticks. You gotta make something brand new. And this is where also ties into what I was doing. I was like, okay, now once I get, and the main thing that was holding me back, obviously I told you I was trying to do this back in February, where I want to do a some sort of live that was beyond my phone. So basically, my brother went to the Philippines. One of the things I had that I haven't used for almost like 2 years now was my iMac. The iMac I built, maybe it was for a different reason. Maybe the universe knew. Of course, the universe knows everything. But like I had a 2020 iMac, which is an Intel-based iMac before Silicon. So like I beefed it up with, it originally came with 16 gigs of RAM. I beefed it up to 64 gigs of RAM. But the intention was different back then. It was for, we'll just say, in the heyday in 2021 when, crypto was big. When people start getting into crypto, that was me. I built something because of the fact that I wanted to view my investments. So it was designed in a way where it can handle a lot of graphics, a lot of memory, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I had it for that. But, it turned out to be, I ended up changed plans. Universe aligned me to what I was supposed to be doing, which is going to the Philippines. So we ended up going to the Philippines. Here we are. I only have my MacBook. So my MacBook is a Silicon. I have a MacBook, Silicon MacBook. It's the M2 MacBook. It only has 8 gigs of RAM. So even when it came to video editing, I remember my MacBook would freeze up because of the fact of so much memory I was using. And it was like, obviously when you run out of your memory, everything starts slowing down. So basically, when my brother went back to the United States, I made sure to say, because obviously we had a 2020 storage, and I mentioned this many times, where because we're not living in the United States anymore, and we're living here in the Philippines, we're gonna clear our storage. So one of the things I told him to bring back is my iMac, which is eventually going to be in this solution, this process where we're going to use it and utilize it. So one of the main things I needed was my iMac to do all this stuff. And also too, I have my PS5 as well. That's part of the key of doing all this stuff. And this is where it led to, once I actually got my iMac, we put stuff in motion to make this work. Where originally I was going to do this all in OBS, make this all work in OBS. And some of you may know what OBS is, but for the ones who don't, what OBS basically is like a streaming software that you can use, a third party, that if you have an idea, or for example, some applications, like TikTok, for example, TikTok has TikTok Live Studio, but then I didn't have live access to TikTok Live Studio because I have a Mac. It's available on Windows, where essentially, like, you can do all the stuff like you see like streamers do and whatnot, making more look more professional. You're not on your phone, etc. You catch my drift. At that point in time, it wasn't available on my Mac. So trying to find a solution here, right? So this is where OBS came in the way. With the help of ChatGPT, I did step by step on when I had my iMac of setting it up. So I did set it up. I actually have OBS ready. This is where we ran into problems. Those are good or bad problem. One of the things with OBS, in order for you to connect to your live, you need credentials. You need the RMTP address, your server keys, so that, for example, you can have OBS connect to your account. Like, in order for you to go live on OBS with TikTok, you need those credentials. ChatGPT was like, hey, go just ask TikTok support. They can get you for it. And oh my goodness, I remember the time when this is last week. I opened a support ticket. Nope. They were saying, no, we cannot give you this. It's only for certain individuals, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. No. I remember it was something where like I tried to just tell them like, look, this is what I'm trying to do. This is my age. This is what I do. Blah, 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 blah. Can you just give me the access? Nope. And then it wasn't until like, okay, and then how we live to here. There are solutions on how you can make TikTok Live work on OBS. And it involves going to a third-party site that will initially stream your live from TikTok. However, what goes in OBS is the restream of it. I don't know if there's a certain delay or whatnot, but there's a restream, and this site's called Restream.io. You go to the Restream site, and that's the one that goes onto OBS. So there was one way, but basically, it was funny because there was the person I was following on YT. His name is Slapshot. He's the one that Slapshot Tech. That's the one that get the ideas of, oh, here is the way you can go live on your MacBook on TikTok Live using OBS. This is where it all started. So I always had it in mind, looked at this thing, and then I came through one of his posts. Here's how to use on a Mac TikTok Live Studio. And I was like, holy shit, TikTok Live Studio's live? I've been asking for this, right? I've been asking for like, okay, let's get us to a point where we can actually use this, blah, blah, blah. But I could not find it. When I tried to look for the site here in the Philippines, it's not available. You can't look you can't see the, you can't see the download link. It just shows the Windows PC. Now, because I live in the United States and there's ways I can get to show myself in the United States, you can figure out what I did. I was able to download it. So this is where we are right now, where we have TikTok Live Studio, and we're streaming live on TikTok using my iMac. And as you can see, like it's crazy how you look at, and we're not done yet. We still have a load of stuff, and I have to explain. I'll explain after this why we still are working on OBS. Given the situation where we have led to, like buying for example, back when I was doing my my cinematics, when I was thinking about doing that and doing vlogging, I can still do vlogging since I have a YT page now, but like basically I have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is our webcam now, which we're using for our lives. So basically it's outputting right now 4K 60 frames per second. Obviously in TikTok, I think it downs you to like 1080 60. But I think our upload speed right now is pretty high. I put it up to 8,000. The bitrate's currently around will peak at 8,000 for my bitrate. But I mean, for the most part, like all the things I bought in previous are being used now. So if you think about how the universe was lining this up, the iMac I had where I beefed it up with so much memory so it wouldn't fail if I'm doing other stuff, plus using an app to go live. A podcast, a podcast camera, which I was planning to use, not podcast, I mean, you know what I mean, vlogging camera, which is this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Awesome camera, awesome thing. We didn't use it for months because we stopped doing long form content like that. My own mic, everything else that you see right here, right now. And it's led to us to this point. We're now, this is the amazing part of this. Having active track is amazing. So every time I move, camera moves. That's freaking amazing. But what I'm saying is, like, getting to the point where we have TikTok Live Studio, we look more professional. And I want to have this, I always talk about quality, right? If you want your shit to grow, if you want people to not take you seriously, because people already take you seriously now, but as in the passion you put into stuff and the things you want to do, of course, in some way, somehow, when you have the resources to fucking do it, at some point you have to up level your quality. There's no way, no heck that you can get to the next level if you stay where you are. And this is kind of the point of, like, for example, what I tell you all, right? Where, being comfortable and uncomfortable. Like, it's perfectly fine to be comfortable. If you're doing the same shit you're doing right now and if you love it, there's no reason to stop. Like, if you love, like, for example, even if you're here on TikTok and you love your content, you're getting monetized very well for the stuff you're doing, there's no reason for you to change. Keep on doing it. But for people like me, individuals who are a podcaster, where they see the value, where like, okay, I am here on TikTok, but I feel that, I probably might be doing better on other platforms as well. So might as well, let's just think about, okay, let's go to other platforms to see how we will do. And this is where we're at now, where we're not only on TikTok, we're also on YT, we're also on Spotify, we're also on Apple Podcasts. Mind you, we're probably on other things I don't know, because it's funny because, like, you look at my analytics on Spotify, it says other. So I don't know what other is. It probably could be another platform, a smaller podcast platform. It could be another site I'm unaware of, but for the most part, I'm there. But I think what I'm trying to say is just, like, you always have to work. If you have the resource, when you eventually get to the point where you can afford the resources, because it's perfectly fine, because I've, tried and true, I was still doing my authentic podcast on my phone. I was uploading whatever the TikTok output was on my phone, where it was, even though it was 9:16, we still uploaded it, right? But at some point, when you want to get to the next level, right, you have to work on the quality. And this is where I'm right now. We're just like, okay, we're on TikTok Live Studio. We look a little bit more better. All the things I've used before, like, I gotta point this way. Which way? Point this way. This way. Jesus. Showing me playing music, using this as my translator. Now you can see it with me. I used to before, obviously, when I was before I had my iMac, I was showing my phone with a dual camera, because iPhones have two cameras. I was pointing towards the iPad or even my iMac and showing the translation. And look at this now. Since thank goodness we have TikTok Live Studio, I can just put it on my screen and I don't have to, I can Windows capture and just show you it this way. It looks actually cleaner this way. So this is where, like, the quality you put into something, it's amazing, where, like, actually, like, it's crazy how far you get. And this is why I tell you, like, I look at you individuals who are like, and even the people who can't see me because you're hearing me on a podcast, like, you can do this as well. Like, I'm not lucky. I feel like, if there's a term of luck, you make your own luck. You make your own path of what you want to do. It also comes down to, do you believe in it or not? Do you believe in anything that you want to do? Then if you believe in it and you don't give a shit what people think or say or feel, like, even they support you or believe you, there's a difference. I mentioned this before. There's a difference between people supporting you and there's a difference between people believing you. So that's things you got to take in. But I mean, like, if you firmly believe in what you're going to do and you always see yourself as, like, the individual in which you see a future, a bright future. You see how much people's lives you're impacting. And you see how that goes. You'll be amazed of how far you go. Like, I never thought I would get to point. I mean, again, I thought I was going to do the OBS thing. And this has always been the story when I talk to my circle of friends, the people find Authentic Circle. If you didn't know, there's a group I have of friends called Authentic Circle. It was made for one reason, but it turned to be something different. Now, whether or not the other individuals, there's some individuals who do go live on TikTok. Like, who knows? There could be more people eventually realize and get inspired by me, and they actually break out. I think some people are doing it right now. They're breaking out. But, like, I think for the most part, I always told them, like, you gotta think bigger than TikTok. And that's the more recent stuff I've been talking about. Is just like, if you are serious about this, right? If you are very serious about this, you gotta think bigger. Like, like I always talk about, like, when I say in the beginning, like, welcome to the world's famous billions watched. Are there really billions in TikTok? And that's the stuff you have to talk about. Think about, okay, well, where are the billions going to come from? Then you got to think about bigger than TikTok, what I mean, right? You have to get to the different platforms. You have to get at different things to get to the billions watched. And this is where, you know, the evolution of me from Joe Lobsterroll to Joe Lobo, from the organic hour to the authentic podcast, where, like, you know, the evolution of our brand, or the spirit we have, like, you know, the things, the intention that we put into all this stuff to make it to where we are right now. I will tell you, you can do the same shit. 100%. There is no doubting that you can. Only doubt that you have is you. It's only you doubting yourself. I mean, once you get to the point where you firmly believe, you don't need to worry about how you're going to get there, but you know that this is going to be big for me. My singing will take me, if it's a singer, I have a lot of singing friends, and it's amazing when I see some of them, how far they're progressing. And they just have this firm belief, like shit, I'm going to get there. And they're progressing, getting involved with these people, getting involved in these concerts. They're getting big and much bigger than me. Even the podcaster people who are like, you know, they want to collab with me, and I see they're following. They're like, holy shit, they're much bigger than me, but they still want to reach out to me. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, constantly believing in which, like, you know, you are more than capable to do the shit that you can do, and not allowing people to tell you, nah, man, you can't do this. Joe, why you want to be a podcaster? Who's going to listen to your shit? And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who's like, man, who wants to listen to Joe Lobo? Well, I can care less. I can care less what people think about. I can give two fucks if people don't want to listen to me or not. But there's always going to be another people. It's the same thing too. It's just like here on TikTok, right? Like, it's like I do have a good following, and I appreciate it. And I actually appreciate individuals, and you know who you are, who have contributed to that. And there's one main person. I don't have to hide who she is. My Esau girl. Shouts out to my Esau girl. She has done tons for me, and I've done tons for her. And I do appreciate the actual, that's, if you want to look at an actual friendship, me and her. And not necessarily mean like, you know, I keep up with her every day and whatnot, but like someone who just like, I see, like they see and I see the value in like the friendship. And then just like, you know, I'm seeing how big she is. And then, you know, for my Esau girl, like just for the folks who don't go on TikTok, just to understand who she is, like she has a huge following. She has almost half a million followers. I think she's a ghost hunter in the Philippines, so she has a huge following. But like, I mean, somehow, some way, I became a friend. Universe allowed the connection to be friends with her, and then basically, you know, she's helped me through this journey of getting followers and whatever. And then there's some big goal that she has that maybe we'll hit it, maybe we'll not. But I mean, like, that's one person. There's other people as well. We're just like, they led to the journey of adding more people. And also too, as well, like this also connected me with individuals who, like, you know, I never would talk to before. Like there's a lot of people like from singers or folks who just focus particularly on, like, you know, collaborating with individuals to better themselves or whatnot, whatever it is. But I mean, like, I'm absolutely grateful for people like that. We're just like, you're in the journey of this, just of that. So anyway, what I'm saying is just like, you know, you'll be surprised that when you believe so much in yourself, of how far you will go, and seeing time and time again the results of where you're going to lead to. It's freaking amazing. And this is where, like, you know, for example, there's a lot. And I'll be honest, there's probably a lot of people who look at my content just like, how the fuck is Joe Lobo going to do this? And I'm pretty sure, and I've talked to a few people already, there's like, man, Joe, I don't know how you're doing it, but you're proving a lot of people wrong, and you're fucking doing what you're saying you're doing. And that's where believing in your passion, your why, and not worrying about who the fuck cares if they like your shit or not. And mind you, it's funny. Yes, I do have a lot of following here on TikTok. I'm like at 3,400, but the same day, like, some people will drop and you lose a lot of followers. I remember one week I lost like 100 followers. but at the end of the day, you may lose 100 followers, but you'll gain another 100 followers or 200 followers. So like at the end of the day, like, you know, it's fine if you lose followers. But the ones who actually stay, the people, the individuals that actually listen to my content, even if it's not me, like the actual content, this bread and butter we're talking about, we're podcasting. This is the most important thing. The people, individuals who are here right now listening, the individuals who are going out of their way on Spotify and Spotify, YT, and then Apple Podcasts, and actively waiting for my episode to drop. The individuals who are stuck in their mind of like, well, how the fuck do I do any of this shit? Or no one believes in what I want to do. And this is what my stuff is catered to. Like, yes, I sing in here. I do some stuff. I'll eventually play games and everything on my platforms. But like, I think the most important thing, the bread and butter, the things I do, I actually give a fuck about, is inspiring you. That's the main gig of this, is to inspire individuals like you, to give you a reason to say, yes, I can do the same shit that Joe Lobo is. Even though, like, how I got here, or my level or status, whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all about the dream, the vision, the goal. You getting yourself in the position to believe somehow, some way you'll get there. Yes, there's going to be a shit ton of barriers you have to get through, but once you get over those barriers and you're still believing in what you're doing, you'll be surprised how far you go. And there's like, I always talk about that. You'll see it. You can Google it, what I'm talking about. There is Maisog 2 is here. Welcome in, Maisog 2. There is if you can Google it, I think it's digging for diamonds. You probably see digging for diamonds picture. And there's two pictures, two individuals hacking away at a cave to look for diamonds. The person at the bottom quit, and they're literally one strike away from getting rich and getting what they wanted. And they said, I give up, and they leave. And the individual up top is, still hacking away. Why am I saying this to you? Is basically this, right? You got to keep on believing what you're doing. You got to believe that, somehow, some way, the shit is going to be put together where you actually will get to where you're going to get to. I firmly believe the universe will align you to certain situations where it's just like, okay, whether or not you're ready for it, it'll put you in a position when you're ready for it. It's just like the situation I had for Apple Podcasts. At that point where I was trying to log in, I was trying to log into Apple Podcasts and it couldn't log in. I was having issues. I think that happened for a reason where it's like, nah, you're not ready for this, bro. You're not. Until you do this eventually where you're talking to using AI to figure the shit out. And then you'll get there, which took like a month. And I tell everyone, if you are a content creator, you're a singer or a podcaster, don't make it so difficult. Please don't. Because you make this shit so difficult, whatever your content is, you make this shit so difficult, then the repetitiveness of you doing it is not going to be there. It won't. So try to make it as easy as possible. Make it, at some point you make it where you're working smarter than not harder. Right? Like using AI. AI is perfectly fine. Some people can be scared of shit as AI. Yeah. Yeah. If you are in my age range, in my generation, where if you watch Terminator, like with Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes, it's kind of scary AI because it's the birth of AI, and AI eventually, turned into what you saw in the Terminator movies. I mean, yeah, but the thing is, like with AI, with the years we are now, it's probably the most valuable tool you can use to, make stuff easier, make it work smarter. And mind you, all this stuff at this point, we're even asking ideas of how to do translation, where TikTok does not provide you any utility to do translation or subtitles. You got to figure out a way. And this is where I was telling everyone, like, blessing disguised as the universe said, okay, gave me the ability to talk to AI, talk to ChatGPT to say, hey, you'll find a solution this way. Just ask the questions. Then here we go. iPad, translate. And that time when I had my phone, had my phone look at the iPad, show you the translation while I was talking, and the picture was at me. So it's just like this. Like I say, like, for example, like, when you're ready for it, like we're setting up this live because I have my iMac now, or like, and then again, and we're going to talk about the OBS part. Get into the position where we're going to go live on, here on TikTok Live Studio, and then finding a way and realizing, oh shit, TikTok Live Studio is available, and then there's a way I can get it. I have it, and then setting everything I had before, like, okay, well, I already have the mic and set up. Now, I already have the Monocaster too. I have my mic already. I'm already able to use my music Instead of, and then, I was also thinking about like, getting away from the position where you don't have to use so much equipment to run a live. So right now, because I have a computer that can handle it all, like where I'm sourcing music is directly from my iMac. Everything's right now, as in my Monocaster 2, my mic is directly my iMac. Getting to that position where it can directly handle it. And then before, mind you, I was using my iPad. It's an old iPad. This is an iPad from like 2019, 2018. So if you know what iPads, they don't last that long. They start running buggy. So even the stuff I was trying to use for like, before, I'll be honest, like when I was using just my phone and iPad, this would get buggy and I would just stop using translation. Which is because like it wouldn't do anything. And I'm happy that now I'm only using this for translating. And sometimes if I'm going live and I want to see, like, I would use this where, I would see what's going on in TikTok, if I'm getting messages or, stuff like that. Now I don't use it as much because I have everything on my iMac. So given this journey of where we are, and I tell you, like, if you firmly believe in like what you want to do, you firmly believe like somehow, some way you're going to figure out, you don't know how you're going to get there, but you feel like, okay, I'm going to get there. And it also helps too when you get the validation from random individuals. Like shouts out to, there's a couple of people. There's shouts out to like KSMoto's one, where like even the beginning of this journey, where he's just like, bro, and he's a mentalist. Like he's been the one telling me, bro, I see this shit's gonna be fucking big for you. I already visioned that. I see you doing this, like some sort of office, blah 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 blah. And I was like, I didn't even know the guy, and he's like, okay. And then same thing as well. I'm spiritual as well, kind of saying the same wavelength, like they're more or less. Like, I believe in law of attraction, manifestation. I meditate a lot, so like my third eye opens to I meditate. He's a big on numerology, mentalist. That picture behind us, this one, the Buddha poster. Before I even got it, and I showed him, and this is when I was back in the province house when I was hanging. He's like, bro, I've seen that picture before, and I've seen the same wall. In the province house, I had a yellow wall with this there. He's like, bro, I seen the yellow wall in this, and it freaks me out. We're just like, this is deja vu to me to see this is it. So like, it's crazy. And it's funny too, because like, even another individual, like she saw, like, I know her name. She's like, she even talked about like, hey, I saw the same wall and the color. And it's crazy, right? It's crazy how universe will link you to certain individuals and blah, blah, blah. But I think for this guy of KSMoto, we're just like, he was talking about like, okay, I see you doing this thing. You're doing something in the office. It's going to be big. Initially, before, I thought it's going to be for the group of friends, like Authentic Circle, the group of friends that are trying to make us the big, my vision, my thought of like, okay, what this is going to lead to is maybe might be like a content creating team, whatever it is, And then the choice I always left is like, if it's up to you, like I tell people, it's up to you. If you want to do this and thing, I leave it up to choice. Like if you want to proceed into your content creating career and do the path that I'm doing, just go ahead and do it. And then we always talk about, okay, we just make sure. And this is why I have that symbol, you see, where the circle, it's changed. It used to be the red circle. Now, the reason why we changed the red circle, because freaking everyone else on TikTok uses a red circle. So like now it gets diluted of like, who's part of Authentic Circle. If they're, the people are still representing it, there's still people representing it, but we changed it to what you see now, where it's a circle with the line under it. Shouts out to KSMoto because he's the one they talked about it. So, people like him, where he validated the same shit, we're just like, okay, I see you doing this stuff. Keep on going. Even random people I've met, and we're actually good buddies now. Mommy Shar from Vegas. I didn't know she was like this, but until like she started doing tarot cards, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I asked her, said the same shit, same validation with my podcast. Like, you're going to be big on this. And even the most random of randoms, are we going to collab together? Yes. We're going to collab on a podcast together. Something eventually is going to come out of it. So like that. And even another person too, like, she is more spiritual than I am, and she said the same thing. It's like, this shit's gonna work out. And even random individuals I met even recently, where they're just saying the same stuff. Hold on, let me fix TikTok's thing. I'm inactive. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Are we good? Okay. Sorry, I had to do that TikTok stuff. So so basically, like random people's like, yeah, you're going to be doing. I think they were looking at tarot cards too, and there was a mentalist as well. It's like, yeah, we're gonna see you're gonna be really great at it, and you're gonna have collabs, future collabs. And this is where it leads to the belief of just like, okay, we got to keep on going to do this because like whatever people have been saying lately is just like, wow, it's very reflective of like, you know, what this journey is leading towards. So this is where like the drive of making this improvements of like why we do this essentially, why we're so focused on quality is because of the promise we have. Not necessarily a promise, but like the vision that we have, the end goal we're going to be, how big this is going to be essentially. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heart me. Mr. Man, you're Mr. something. I appreciate you. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate you. Like, you know, a lot of people are saying it. A lot of people, like, especially mental spirituals, like, I see something big, we're going to keep on rolling with it. So this is where we're at right now. So it looks like I have a Live Fest box. So I appreciate if you can hit the Live Fest box. I'm kind of out of Live Fest, but so anyway, appreciate you open the Live Fest box if you want. But I mean, for the most part, we got to keep on going. So like, I always believe in certain, again, I mentioned, right? The doors will open to you when you're ready for it. So universe will open to many doors. You open us to TikTok Live Studio. Boom, we're here now. All the previous equipment I had before, we're using right now. My DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the camera we're using right now in my live, outputting 4K 60. But TikTok only uses 1080p, which is perfectly fine. It's okay. Mr. N, there you go. Thank you for the harmony. I appreciate you. Appreciate you giving me a follow too, Mr. M. And you probably do already. All the other equipment I talk about that we are using, upgrading the mic. It's funny because I'm actually thinking about, oh my God, today I actually looked at TikTok. I was like, should I upgrade my mic again and get the, you know, and I kind of started because like I have a mutual friend who's on TikTok. She's like, she has a better mic. I should have got that mic. It was like a couple hundred pesos more. It was the P300X. And I have the P200. This works fine. And then, you know, it led back to like just recently, I was looking at the P400X, which is 6,000 pesos. But I'm just like, I had to relax again. I was like, Joe Lobo, we just got this mic. Chill the fuck out. So like, you know, that's probably something we'll get, you know, when we further along this. But I think for now, what we have currently for our podcast is perfectly fine to do, you know, to do the things we're doing right now. I mean, yeah, I do have an impulse sense of myself. I'm an Aries, you know, Aries are impulsive as fuck. And just like we buy things on like impulsiveness. It's just like, for example, like my friend Maisa girl was selling stuff that she uses for a ghost hunt, and she was selling flashlights. I actually needed a flashlight. What I ended up doing, I ended up buying a flashlight from her. And it was amazing too because it was very bright. It's one of the ones that she uses for a ghost hunt, which is super bright as fuck when she's doing her hunt. And then I bought one for 300 pesos, and then actually it's great because you can actually charge your phone with it. That's fucking amazing. So I bought that today, and that sometimes is from impulse buy. But hey, yes, we're friendly. We're friendly. Oh, we're already. Oh, friends already in. Bella. I got you, brother. Benji, welcome in. So like, I had to chill. Like going back to the P400X. That's professional level now. It'll probably make me sound even 15 times better than this. Because I always think, you know, like for example, like I think we adjusted our setup now where it's just like it's doable because with the help of ChatGPT to make sure this works, then alleviates the okay, I need to buy something better. Oh, okay, I need to buy a better mic. I think we need to slow down a little bit until the next iteration. Who knows? Unless that mic goes down 2,000 pesos and then P400X it is. But we'll see. So like I think where we're leading to right now, going to where we are right now, it's freaking amazing where I can show you, and even too, the quality is freaking amazing. And this is what I always wanted at some point, is to be at this position where like the quality is much better than my phone. Now some people don't give two fucks about the quality in the phone, and they're still on TikTok. Like again, there's a lot of people who are still using the phone and they're super duper successful at it, what they do here in TikTok, congratulations to them. Keep on doing what you're doing. But like for me, as a creature of quality, I always want something fucking better. I always want something where it's just like, okay, it's gonna look much, much better. It's gonna look much clearer. It's gonna look crisp. The way I sound on my mic is gonna be so much better than just using my phone and talking to you on my phone. Like, I think part of me is just like, I'm the individual where just like, I feel like sometimes people will take you more seriously when you actually like, as in what you're trying to do. If you are a podcaster or a singer, right? People will take you much more seriously if you give a shit or give a fuck about your quality. I'll be 100%. Like even the individuals I follow, like actual singers I'm cool with. Like Nessa's one of them. She has the very expensive Shure mic, and I see how she changed her setup where she's more, you can see her more clearly. Like when you get to that point where just like you're serious about the shit you do, like you probably want to spend more money on the stuff, the equipment, like Shure mics or better mixers or whatever have you, or eventually get to a point where you are using TikTok Live Studio to do all your shit. So I'm happy where we're at right now. Like I am ecstatic when we actually got to a point. Like it's funny because like I was always at a disadvantage of like, you know, having a Mac and I can't use TikTok fucking Live Studio because it's not available yet. Until recently I find out, oh, while I was going through my troubles, and man, it was crazy where just like the troubles I had with like, you know, TikTok support was like it's very one quick response. Like, oh, we can't give you this because blah, 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 blah. We don't give this contact to anyone, et cetera, et cetera. You have to be this bigger level. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is how big I am. What does it matter? And I think, you know, maybe it's just a privacy thing with TikTok. I don't know. But yes, there are workarounds with it. But I think the more legit way, because like, even if you did the workarounds, even if I did, the one workaround is go through a restreaming site, which is Restream.io. You go live on Restream.io, and they'll be technically the same shit where like you're using the credentials from Restream.io and you're putting it into OBS. Now the challenges would be, and it's more of two because I'm in the Philippines, is like, okay, well, and this is what I thought about. We're just like, okay, well, if I went with Restream.io, for example, right? Where is the server going to be from? Because I doubt there's a server here in the Philippines where it's going to restream. I think when I was looking at it and I was asking ChatGPT, it's like, if I want to go this way, like, where would be the nearest server? And then I think they said it would probably be like Singapore or like Hong Kong. And then I remember back then when I was on my MacBook, where I was checking to see, okay, how fast is the ping? And I was literally going to like 100 ping. So like, it was like, holy shit, that's fast. And like, holy shit, that's slow, not fast. That's slow. So imagine me going through all that work of like setting up through Restream.io, going through OBS, and then going live. It'd probably be worth it. It'll be a waste of time because what you'll find out is like, it's super choppy. And then it's just like, okay, well, there goes that idea out the window. So I'm kind of happy in a sense. Sad, still a work in progress, but I'm happy that we got to a point where on TikTok Live Studio now we have this quality. We actually have TikTok Live Studio. I have a method to get the download, if you know what I mean, to say if I can go in the instance, say I'm in San Francisco right now, if you know what I mean. And then there you go. Here is TikTok Live Studio on my phone, not my phone, on my iMac, and we're using it. So I am proud to be at this position to offer you, even the folks who are going to see me on YT or even see on Spotify, how this layout's going to be, where it's no longer a 9:16 you're watching. You're probably now seeing a 16:9, and it's the best quality you can get, which is in terms of in terms of TikTok right now. Thank you for the heart. Me appreciate you. I thank you very much. I'm trying to look at it. Who is that? I can't see. Oh, LNF. Thank you so much for the heart. Me appreciate you. But like, I mean, like looking at the way we're doing the server book. Thank you for the heart. Me as well. I appreciate you. It's amazing we got to this point. Now, are we done with OBS? No, we're not. Because eventually I do want to do a simultaneous stream where basically, for example, we're doing the same shit here, but also on YT. Now, there are some challenges now I have to deal with. I have this shit squared out now. For the most part, I have it squared out. There's certain things that are kind of related to how I'm running the live here in TikTok Studio in terms of right now, the reason why you can hear my music and my mic on TikTok Live Studio on my Mac is this, my Monocaster 2. If it wasn't for my Monocaster 2, if I wasn't using Monocaster 2 and I just connected just my mic, you wouldn't hear music. So why am I saying this? Is because this is what I figured out recently. Still working on OBS. I was able to go live on OBS, but there are some plans and ideas I have. Like, I was thinking about, okay, well, because like there's delay when I was doing it. When I did a test live on my YT account to see how it looks like. There is a considerable delay where it's initially, and here's a backstory, right? I was thinking about like, okay, if I'm going to kind of do you heard my cracking my knuckles, sorry. If my goal is to produce the same content, wouldn't it make sense if we're just using one single source? Meaning that I'm covering I'm covering the content here from TikTok Live Studio, but we're basically going to rebroadcast it over to YT, if you know what I mean, via window capture or vice versa. Because if I did it from YT, I'll be able to take advantage of the 4K 60 or 1440p, better quality, etc. And then I'll just take TikTok Live Studio, do a Windows capture, and then bam, we're there. Here's the challenge. And this is for Mac users. Apparently, there's no way, no how, or no mechanism in a Mac, unless you have a resource, for example, in terms of TikTok Live Studio, where I have a mixer itself outside of my iMac, where it can pick up your mic and your desktop music at the same time. So in OBS Studio, when I was trying to figure this out, because I was running plans of ideas, because it's not only just gonna be my podcast here. I have ideas and plan where I want to capture me playing games on my PS5. Thank you for the glow sticks, LNF. Appreciate you. I want to capture video. I already have a Elgato HD60X that I'm gonna video capture stuff. I actually have Call of Duty 7. Black Ops 7 already loaded. I'm waiting for my freaking controller because apparently someone put the controller in the wrong box and it's now getting shipped here on a boat. So that's gonna take a month and a half. So because in the Philippines, and that's a long story short, I talked about this before, finding a controller in Bohol is a challenge, and that doesn't exist here. I understand because I'm in Bohol, and who can afford? There's not a lot of people in Bohol who can probably afford a PS5, so it doesn't make sense for any store to hold it here. Maybe in Cebu. So with the help of TikTok Shop, I have a PS5 controller on its way. It's coming here probably a couple days from now. But anyway, I had ideas of what I want to use. Utilize OBS and somehow, some way, whether I Windows capture the activity here in TikTok Shop, or not TikTok Shop, here in TikTok Live, or vice versa, OBS, and rebroadcast it whichever way I can do it. The problem is going to be that it won't pick up background music, background sounds. So this is the challenge I have, and this is kind of the challenge here, where I was thinking about asking ChatGPT, is like, how can I get away from using less equipment? Meaning, let's take out the Monocaster 2. Can I do it? And then the realization said nope. The reason why why you can do this in TikTok Live Studio is because you're sourcing your music into your mono mixer with your mic. So it's basically taking it as one source when it's putting into TikTok Live Studio, where it accepts it. Now on OBS, it doesn't realize that. It doesn't realize oh, you are sourcing the same shit. You're sourcing the music into your Monocaster while you're having your mic. It doesn't take it that way. And I realized that was when I did the test lives, where I was on YT, where I was talking, but you don't hear anything. You don't hear any background music. You hear zero. And then this is where I asked the question, okay, again, if you're setting up OBS or you're setting up anything, highly suggest you use AI. I'm using ChatGPT to figure all this shit out. I even told a bigger streamer than I am, at one point she was having the same problems. If you watched the singing live I did, I Just Want to Sing, and then I was having echoes off the bat. She was having the same problems too as well, where I was just telling her it's probably because of this, and I hope she solved it. I gotta follow up her and see she figured it out. Hope she did. Hope she didn't give up. But anyway, like, going off to the issue that's related, could be potentially related to this if I want to eliminate equipment for TikTok Studio, which I can't. And this is particularly for Macs in general. It doesn't enable, or there's some mechanism in OBS or even things like this where it doesn't acknowledge desktop audio as a source to be put in, as you know, to be used, to utilize. It just picks up your mic. So the solution for that, there's an app I have to get. It's called Loopback, but it's gonna cost $100. That app is $100. Now you can use it for free. But the challenge is, I think they said after 20 minutes it starts putting weird noises where it makes it unusable. So you know, it's the haha, you previewed it, but you can't use all of it unless you pay for the license. Sorry, bro. So that's what happened. So there's some certain thing. I think it's like a virtual audio mixer where you have to connect everything together to make it work, and then you can use it as one unified source to tell, like, for example, OBS, okay, here's everything connected, use it. And then basically that would just be the same solution here, where it's just like, okay, instead of using my mixer and mic, I can just only utilize my mic and then put it in a virtual audio mixer to say, by the way, I have a mic and play music as well. So that Loopback app is going to cost me $100 USD, 5,000, 6,000 pesos to buy it. And I probably will buy it, but I think the focus right now is just like, let me just get this finalized, which is TikTok Live Studio. And then that was crazy. Now there's another app. I think I forgot the name of the app, but I mean it's relative to TikTok Live Studio. But if you know what a black box is, if you don't know what a black box is, it's basically a utility that does something, but you don't know what's inside the contents. You don't see anything. You'll probably can tell it what to do, but you're not going to see how it's connected. So if anything goes wrong within the box, which is we can't see anything, how are you supposed to troubleshoot to see what's wrong? So like even this virtual audio mixer, imagine using a virtual audio mixer that you cannot see, and then something goes wrong and you can't figure it out. How do you troubleshoot? Right? So this tool that I have to use, which is Loopback, which is $100. And yes, some people here in TikTok might think, man, Joe Lobo is wealthy and he has all this money. He's from the United States, blah, 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 blah. But bro, I'm an entrepreneur. I got to be worried about, and this is why, even too, yes, I'm a level 33 gifter, but the same way I've slowed down a lot on gifting because of the fact of just like the realization that it's not sustainable. Like I only do it for certain things. Yeah, some of my friends I'm connected to, yeah, they can freaking do it all day and all night, but just like, man, I can't do it so much. And it's like, even like, it's crazy. Like even the people I interacted with where I spent a lot for them because I believe in their content. Like, do I still talk to most of them? No. So like it's now to a point where it's just like I'll do it for certain events. Like there's actually one I'm gonna help a friend because she's doing it for a great cause for senior citizens. I'm considering putting something to that. And there's other people, friends, they have their stuff because it's their birthday. We'll see how much we put into there. But I think for the most part, like I slowed down that shit. We're just like it's not sustainable to take it out of your pocket, if you know what I mean. Unless there's revenue that's able to support you doing that. So like I take ownership for the shit I've done in the past, and I've told many people, and sometimes people like start digging the screwdriver in, and I'm telling them, fucking stop already. I get it, but like at the end of the day, we're just like it's not sustainable to unless you have unlimited resources. Then fucking do it. Like amazing, but like when it comes to me, like an entrepreneur, just like I had to think about shit. We're just like, okay, well, let's see if we can support it. Maybe we'll see. It's the same thing as like going back to like Loopback, where it's just like. I know I need to pay for it in order for to make this shit work. I will get to it, but I feel like there's stuff I want to finalize first. So like number one, let's finalize TikTok Live Studio to make sure it fucking works first, and then go from there. Also too, what I've just finished right now, and I was waiting to like December to complete it. I was actually waiting for my brother to come back, is the actual agreement for the next step for Apple Podcast. which is right now, as I told you, I'm feeding an RSS to Apple Podcasts. They're loading my stuff in there. That's how you can see my Apple Podcasts. But the next level of that is actually being a creator there, if you know what I mean, generating a subscription level business over there. So that's the other piece I'm doing, and giving priority to that, to giving priority to Apple Podcasts when that eventually goes down. There's some minor things. I did most of it right now. There's some final things I gotta finalize. I'm still have to ask questions about certain things, but once we complete that, then we'll go back to, like I said, going back to completing OBS. OBS works. I already ran it through YT. It works fine. The only issue, like I said, is this. You can't hear my music. You can hear this. A lot of people can do podcasts, and it's fine. I could probably do a podcast with no music, but it's just like that's not my style. It's the same thing too. Just like even getting to the point where I was like, I was trying to do with the Apple Podcast thing. Like I didn't sign the agreement because my worry of copyright. Because like fuck, if I sign the agreement with Apple Podcasts and then they find out like, oh, you're playing copyright music and you're not supposed to play copyright music, there goes my agreement with Apple Podcasts. There goes, can't do shit anymore. And this is why you have to think beyond. Where I was thinking about, okay, I actually asked ChatGPT, it's like, okay, where are the places I can get this copyright free music? And this is where it got me to Upbeat.io. I mean, there's some other sites called Endemic Sounds. I didn't look at that, but something about Upbeat.io I wanted to do. And it was only like, it's a monthly fee, $10 a month for unlimited catalog. You can download it. And once you download it, you get the link that if anytime some person complains about, ooh, copyright strike, you can say, no, bro, I have access to use it. Here's the license. So I have a protection level for that. And then what's great about what Upbeat.io is they whitelisted my YT account. So any music that comes from YT, even though you have to put the branding to say, I'm using music from Upbeat.io, blah, 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 blah. If you have any problems with copyright, well, here you go. Like, just email me and I can send you all this. So you got to do certain things like that, where like essentially like, to make sure that, okay, your shit's protected. Now going back to like, Apple Podcasts, like, yeah, I didn't want to do this stuff for Apple Podcasts if like I'm still playing copyright music. Now TikTok is funny and hilarious sometimes because just like you can essentially play copyright music and it won't do shit for you until there's certain times. Like I was dealing with it recently where it's like trying to post a story and then I was playing copyright music and it flagged like, oh, you can't play this music, but like other music and other people I see on this app are doing the same thing, playing copyright music. And what makes any difference? As long as you don't repost it, you don't put in a story that's outside or whatnot. Okay, but it has to be, if you're gonna do something like that, it has to be super streamlined. But this is where like, going back to using copyright free music because it enables me to be okay on Spotify, on YT, Apple Podcasts. So making sure that in an event that I do actually sign this agreement and to start putting content that's a paid business in a sense to me, I don't get fucked at the end because I'm playing copyright music. Now, like even one, like I remember one of my recent podcasts, because I was using copyright music, Spotify, it's funny because I just saw the email. Spotify was saying, oh, you're playing copyright music for blah, blah, blah. You can't play this in Zimbabwe. Because it does that shit. So like I said, no, I have this. Look. And then I see the emails like, oh, after reviewing this, you're all good. No worries. So it's like stuff like that. You have to be prepared for shit. Where it's just like, you have to know like, okay, if I'm going to get myself in the situation, I'm going to make sure everything's watertight. So as in the music I control, the music I'm playing, let's just make sure it's copyright free, that I have the licensing in an event that someone says, no, you can't use this and you're using copyright. Because that would be a pain in the ass where like, for example, if some of your platforms go off, let's say you go create like, I know this will happen for YT, where it's eventually you put more long form content, it will push more shit to you, get more following, etc. But like, it would suck if you had a copyright strike. And then there goes your account again. Like I said, there goes your account. All the work you did, can't do anything because you're playing copyright music. So like thinking forward of the stuff that I was just like, okay, how can I prevent myself to get into situations where like I'm not gonna get fucked over with copyright? Yeah, sometimes you have to pay do things out of pocket, like $10 a month. Okay, so that's $120 a year. But that saves your ass from getting kicked off a platform because you're playing copyright music, or you don't get monetized for a post that you did because you're playing copyright music. So this is where, like, you know, thinking bigger, thinking how you can make sure that, you know, how you can make sure that your shit's watertight enough for, like, you can prevent situations like that from happening. So, like, that's what I did. So now we don't have any issues. Like, yeah, I mean, I remember asking the questions, and this is the key thing. I asked questions like, okay, if I pay for this I pay for this monthly, can I just stream music from the site and say I'm using it? No, we can't. Because how it's supposed to work is you download the music, and then, you download the music, and then you get the licensing, you get the license number, and then you also get the link of the song on their site, so that in an event someone is just questioning, like, your shit, you can say, here's all the stuff, here's the license, I can use it. So I actually have, and then, you know, I have a podcasting playlist that is running for 2 hours. It's 2 hours worth of songs. And then I have a master list of every single, based on the playlist, I have a master list of all the licensing, all the links, etc. And then I also have one specifically for gaming that when we get to that point that I made one for, for drum and bass, and then some other music I was playing. I forgot what it was, but like same list of two, because in preparation, when we actually play video games too, I cannot be playing copyright music because I don't want to get flagged when I'm live, or if I repost the content. Because yes, eventually what I want to do is like post my gaming content on YT. Eventually. Why? I show you on TikTok, like, okay, cool, we're here on TikTok, but I'm playing video games. And it's funny too, because I saw one of the people I follow, she was playing Grand Theft Auto 5. So I have to ask a question how she's doing that. But anyway, so yeah, preparing yourself to make sure you don't get fucked in the end, and that's the main things. So that you got to be careful. Like, you know, if you're trying to get to this position where you're trying to make something out of it, it's like making sure that you are covering the shit that's not gonna get you fucked over. So like even people probably see it here. I'll be honest with you, and they're probably watching me now on YT. Those people who send you stuff like, hey, we're going to make you big. We're going to do this. Trust me. We'll send you gifts and do all that stuff. Like, I don't know. Some people love it and they want to work with it. And others, like, I don't know. But just like, I get those all the time. Where just like, you know, they ask and they say, oh, we can do this for you. We can do this for you, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm always an individual. Like, as long as you have your shit, you take care of the stuff in the back end to make sure your shit doesn't get affected like that. I do that kind of shit. Even the stuff where, like, even here on TikTok, the tools I have available for my chat, where there's certain things you cannot say of my private life, or things that are relative to, it seems like you're talking shit to me. I cut that all off. So like being prepared to make sure that you can handle the situations, that's what you gotta do. And it's the same thing too, just playing music. Making sure you play copyright free music so that you don't get fucked over in the end. Or, you know, you have like even the same thing as here in the podcast, and I'm doing it directly here on TikTok, where like, you know, like I don't have, why I'm talking to you by myself. And now, you know, as you mentioned as well, I like going live myself on TikTok because easier and much better to control. It's better to go solo because you're easier to manage it. Yes, I do have people that come in who are friends of mine and they mod me sometimes, but when you actually go solo, you can control the situation. Even if your content, like, it's harder. I find challenges. I mentioned this before. I find challenges where, like, you know, if you bring panels up and you're trying to get on I did this before, and you're trying to talk about like a certain topic and people don't follow it. And you're giving people the expectation who, like, okay, you need to follow this, and they don't follow it, then like it's unproductive. I tried this a couple times before in the beginning of this, and this is why I do podcasts by myself, because of the fact of it's much easier to manage. Now in the future, when we do collabs, when you work with the right people, maybe podcasts with 1 or maybe 2 people, 3 people's fine. Those are easier to manage as long as people understand. And this is where you have to find the right people you're talking to who are able to, you know, work with you when you do a podcast. Like people who are able to converse back and forth to you, like the give and take of a conversation, who can have a long conversation without having to worry or concern of what the fuck people are going to say about you. You know what I mean? And that's where you like eventually like the people will future, you know, we already did one collab with someone here on TikTok. His name was Chad. I wish I would, like back then, I wish I still had the copy. I saw the copy of the podcast that's on Spotify, but it got taken down because there's copyright music. And I was trying to find a way or solution to how to strip it. I probably have a solution now. I can strip it now. I have to try it, see if it works, and then repost it. But I think for the most part, you can't be working with you can't. There's certain people you can probably collab with in the podcast, and some people you can't. And this is where you have to pick and choose the right people, because like if it turns out to be something where it's just like it's unproductive, then like there goes the podcast you did with your collab. Like there's probably a handful of individuals where like, you know, I want to probably do a podcast with. There's definitely one, you know, we were talking about, like I want to do one with Mommy Shar. Like I always mention Mommy Shar because of the fact that she's pretty much me as a female who doesn't give a fuck about what you like. You know, if you're talking shit to them, she'll talk shit back, she'll clap back. Same thing as me. Like, if you talk shit to me, I'll talk shit back to you and throw it back in your fucking face. But in the same thing, like this is what I appreciate about her, and she's the same spiritual level in the sense what she's dealt with, like maybe not the same shit we deal with, but like kind of the same build up to where we are now. And that's like definitely one person that I want to work with, which is like, and it's funny too because like she was putting her cards that we're supposed to have a collab, actual, you know, we're gonna be getting to something, and looking forward to that. And it's funny too because I always be sharing her, here's the equipment you should buy, here's what you should do, blah blah blah. You should think of doing TikTok live. I think I told her recently you should do TikTok live studio. I was like, why the fuck not? Like you already have a MacBook, you already have this and that, like to do it, and then you just have to get you know, the stuff I was showing you, like the equipment. You should buy the equipment and then get a camera, and then you're set. And then you can do something like that. Even so, like even if we did a collab and she's still on her phone, I'll still do it because like she's my friend. Because I think we can make great content like that. And this is where you find the right people who can make you great content. Like for me, like I may not be the greatest person. Yeah, it could be. I mean, if someone want to keep it structured on a certain topic, we can probably do it. But I feel like the best conversations usually are the ones that are completely ad lib, like an actual conversation where none of this is made up. Like we're literally just going off the bat, just talking like individuals, like we're talking in a room or talking in a cafe. As one of the people I no longer talk to, she said the same thing. Imagine we're talking in a cafe, just me and you talking. And that's how you should treat it as, like, if you're taking pointers from me as a podcaster, like and I've got that stuff where just like people ask like, Joe, what makes you successful? How do you do all this shit? One, not give a fuck what people think, and two, just be yourself, just talk. Like it's the same thing as, it's just the same shit as like, you know, it's the same thing as like when you approach certain people or, you know, or whatnot, like you treat them as a regular individual, regardless of what level they are. Like even like here on TikTok, like, oh my God, you're 1 million followers. Oh my God, like I can't talk to you. Like, well, fuck, you have that personality, and fuck, you're not going to be able to talk to them. But if you have that 50-50 shot, you have the confidence just to put your foot in the door, you don't know what's going to happen. You could have a 50-50 shot. Like same thing. It's like best example, Mahisa girl of all people. Like, yes, I was a follower first, and then I think I unfollowed her at one point. But I followed her because I love their content. I love ghost hunting stuff. Like one of my favorite shows in the United States was Ghost Adventures with Zach Bagans, featuring Zach Bagans. If you don't know who he is, you should check him. He does some crazy hunts in the United States. But I mean, like, yeah, that's why I got an affinity to like Mahisa girl, because of the fact that like she does ghost hunts and she's brave as fuck. Yes, the shit that she does, like people are like either scared and talk shit to her because like maybe they can't do it themselves. I don't know, but like she has amazing content. And then one way or another, a mutual friend, we were on his live, and we just connected easily. She connected me, I connected with her, we became friends, and then somehow, some way, it turned out to be like, you know, we had a conversation. She's like, hey, I see you as a friend, and then I'm her mod to her account, and we're friends. And that's easy enough. Like that's why I love conversations, like friendships like that, where it's fucking effortless, where it's just like I don't have to put so much fucking work into it to be a friend. Like I can just be myself and it fucking works. You know what I mean? That's what I appreciate. Like friendships that are, you know, that doesn't take any fucking effort to put together. You can just be your fucking self, and then boom, it works. And that's where, like, for example, Marisa girl, just like, man, it's easy. Like, I don't have to put so much effort into it. It's like even though like there's, people might say whatever their differences are, just like be a friend, just be an individual. Like regardless how popular or big or small they are, they do the same shit. They wake up in the morning, they eat breakfast, do their stuff in the bathroom, rinse, dry, teeth. What makes them any different? They're freaking fucking humans. They're not robots. You know what I mean? So getting your comfort zone to meet these people, getting your comfort zone to like actually engage with certain individuals to get to that next level. It's the same thing as like shout out to like, AGF, the people I met in like and Huga Fam, Titang Tugatera, of all those people, like meeting them. She's like talking to fucking people and then like finding their dynamic of how they work and all that stuff. I fucking love that. Where it's fucking effortless. I hate being in a fucking situation where it just seems as I get into, and I've talked to this many times, where like especially here in TikTok, like I go to support someone and it feels like, oh, I need something from you. And just like I'm just like, okay, what the fuck do you need from me? It's just like, okay, is this do I really want to do this every fucking time and come there and you have the expectation of me sending you something? Or have to do something for you? Fuck no. Again, it goes back to like, where's, people asking questions like, oh, do you talk to these people anymore? I'm like, no, because I feel like I have to do so much shit to become your friend, or even like the values I have a belief in a certain individual and it doesn't work out. I always say like, even individuals now, we're just like, I interact with them now and I can see, for some reason I see like, okay, it's either when I talk about it, what I'm going to do and whatnot, there's like more that, I don't know if it's jealousy or not, but you can see where like, the competition aspect of it, but just like, okay, but you're just a fucking person at the end of the day. We have different content. And it's just like, even too, it's just like, I will never put myself in the position where me as a person of quality will point someone else when they've been doing this longer than I am. You know what I mean? Unless it comes to a point and they ask me, Joe, what do you think about my quality? Then I'll tell them straight up. You need to fix some shit because what you're doing right now, it's kind of not that great. Even though like people can say what they do and what they are, I will never point them out unless they tell me like, oh, Joe, what can I fix on my live? And then I will point it out. It's like, hey, this is what I think. When I go in your lives, it's hard to be in your lives because it's too fucking loud. And then people can say the same shit as mine. We're just like, oh my God, you're so deep and you're Professor X, I can't listen to your shit. And that's perfectly fine. This is not for everybody. And it's fine. Teach his own. There's plenty of other shit that you can watch on TikTok. This is not what you want to watch. It's perfectly fine. But the same thing, I would never point someone out until they ask me. It's like, hey, what do you think I can improve? Because that's fucking wrong. Where you just come in and say, hey, I think you need to fix this. Because people can take that as negative and just say, what the fuck are you telling me? I've been doing this for how long? And who the fuck are you? There's that ego thing that happens sometimes where just people will say all the shit they want and they'll be kind of butthurt about it. So until they come to me and they say like, okay, Joe, what can I fix? I'll tell them. And it's just like, and there's probably there's reasons like that where I don't go there as much because like, oh my God, your shit's so fucking loud. Like shit. And just like, it's hard for me to listen because your stuff is super loud. And it's just like, you got to fix it. But I'm not going to tell them until they tell me. Because it's just like, I think some people might take that as disrespectful. Especially in the country we are. I think people dynamics are a little bit different versus the United States where you can be in their face like, your shit sounds terrible. You need to fix this. And then like, there are some people here, especially in TikTok, where they help me. Like KSMoto of all people, like the past few days when we're fucking putting this shit together, like he's like, bro, I can't hear you. Bro, you sound like you're in the toilet bowl. Bro, you're doing this. I love people like that who tell me like, bro, you need to fix this. And there's just like, for KSMoto, my guy, he just sound like, you need to fix this. I'm gonna tell you it sounds fucked up. You need people in the life to tell you it's fucked up, because like if you don't have people that tell you it's fucked up, then how do you know if the shit you're doing is correct or it's fucked up? Seriously. So much love to the folks and individuals who like that support you like that. But again, for my sake, like I would never point out somebody who's been much bigger than me, right? Like their breadth of where they are is huge. Like I look up to them more than I look up to you, unless they tell me themselves like, Joe, what do you think is wrong with my shit? Give me an honest perception of what I do here. I'll fucking tell them. And they'll tell them straight up, it's your output's too fucking loud. Like, you have the best equipment, but your shit's too fucking loud. You need to fix it. And I will tell them straight up. But again, until they tell me, I'll tell them. Because I'm not going to just point out, it's like, bro, your shit's hella loud. Like, you need to fix it, because like, it's ear piercing. And they probably don't realize it. But until they tell me that, hey, Joe, what do you think I can fix? I won't tell them. Because who am I to tell you if my shit's fucked up? Because like, in your mind, you're probably gonna see the best stuff ever, and I'm not gonna ruin it for you until you ask me. Like you know, maybe like there's probably other people who probably don't like comments like from like individuals like KSMoto who point you out, like, bro, I can't hear shit, or your shit's super loud, or I can't hear you with your music playing. It's like stuff like that where it's just like, you know, some people can't take that right. So you gotta be careful, like, you know, how you deal with that stuff, because like, you know, some individuals can't handle that better. So that's, again, going back to what I'm saying. If it does come up, then I'll tell the individuals like, hey, you're doing great and all, but just like, man, it's hard for me to be in your live because your music's too fucking loud, or your mic's too damn loud. It's like, it's ear piercing. So like, again, I think for a person that looks at individual that looks at quality, and I hear shit like that, we're just like, oh my god, bro, like, your shit's too fucking loud. I'm not gonna be there because it hurts my ears. And it's the same thing as too. There are probably plenty of people who don't want to be, who are looking at me FYP right now, and they're like, I don't want to go in there because, one, they're probably gonna be, either they are watching from far away to see like from a distance because they don't want me to see that they don't want me to realize they're watching me. That's fucking fine. And there's plenty of other individuals like who probably disagree with what I do or how far I'm progressing. Teach his own. Agree to disagree. Again, there's plenty of other people you can watch on TikTok, people of whatever your content you love. If you love other shit, you just like love people playing Mobile Legends all day, or stuff that just like less podcasty, and you want to look at a singer all day, then you can go somewhere else. But I always feel like the individuals who are always here are here for a freaking reason. You're here because maybe some way, somehow you need to hear this, because of the fact of, I'm here to uplevel you, to give that inspiration to, like, you can fucking do this yourself. Like, I'm not anyone special. Like, I went from the beginning. Like, we talked this monologue from the beginning, where just like how far we started to where we are now. And we have gone a long way in the matter of, how many months is that? Like March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 9 months. Coming from, I was at end of January, I was at 33 followers, and I'm at now at almost 34 something. Last time I checked, I was at 34:15, 34:13, whatever it is. Even like the amount of people I know, or just like how far we've been, even the quality of where we are. Like, so much of a milestone, we have got to this point where our quality is so much better. Now, even when I do the editing to post these videos on to post these on the other platforms, are going to be so much better. You're not going to see just 9:16 of like what you look on the phone. You're going to see full, you're going to see full 16:9 covering the whole screen. And that's the best shit out of this. And now, like, for example, the challenge I had before, were just like, you know, I would wait for the update from TikTok to get the download. I don't have to wait for it now, because you know why? TikTok Live Studio enables you to record it locally. So once this shit's done, I can work on putting it live. Probably not gonna do it tonight because I have to do some stuff tomorrow. Like, we're gonna talk about that. But I mean, basically, just like, you know, it makes it easier for me. Now I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait for the load to get completed so that I can upload this and put it on, put it on other platforms I'm on. Put it on Spotify, put it on Apple Podcasts, put it on YT. I don't have to wait for this shit anymore. So, lesson solved. So, hope you guys enjoyed, like, understanding, like, how far we've gone. It's amazing how far we've got. And it's amazing the people we met. Maybe I don't talk to them anymore, but they've been very important in the stepping stones of where the fuck I'm at now. Like, even the one person I don't talk to, I don't Maybe one day we'll talk, maybe we won't. Teach his own. I believe and trust and that the universe or God or whatever you believe in, they always bring the people to you that are meant for you at that moment. So if there are people in which they're not part of your journey anymore, or they were in the beginning of your journey, but they no longer fit, please believe you'll find out that you no longer are able to talk to them anymore. Or maybe some shit or difference has happened where it gets disconnected. But what I tell you is, it's part of the cycle I've realized in my life, where just like, not everyone's going to follow you to your journey. I hope they follow. Maybe we connect. I hope we connect down the road. And then that basically means that what we believe in is more similar, so we can talk more what needs to be done. But individuals who you're talking about being a podcaster, but you have other individuals who are not following being a podcaster, or maybe they don't believe in the shit you do. It's perfectly fine if they don't follow you. It happens. And I hate to say it, like, like people will probably disagree. Joan, that's some bullshit. Like, I'm not losing all my friends. I have 20 of my friends. Given the person who I've had a close friend of mine since high school, since I was like 14, 15 years old. We had a 20 to 25 year relationship as friends. We were close friends. I consider close friends. But as the realization of what our dynamic was, where I was, I've told this many times, or like where I was when I was younger, or just like, I was an insecure individual. I would lay down for people and just like lose myself for them to appease them. And then it came to a point like, no, I'm not fucking doing that shit anymore. I'm not. And then also too, the belief, the cycle, where you're going, the passion, like, remember when like this person, the individual, I would talk to this person about like the 25 years, like we used to be cool individuals, but I realized our relationship was catered to him. And then when he realized that like me and him no longer can talk about stuff, I'm connected to them. Literally. I get blocked up of social media. The wife thinks I'm crazy, whatever. I don't talk to him anymore. But it's just like, I remember that too. Like those conversations I have, like he was very, very comfortable. Very comfortable. Each his own. You can be comfortable as long. If you want to be comfortable, have the family man, stay at the same place, whatever. I more like take the risk, being comfortable. I mean, even our dynamics of retired, like he'll tell me the stories about, I tell you, it's again, oh bro, man, you should put yourself in a 401k, do this retirement fund, do this, so you can retire when you're 55, 60. And I'm thinking in my mind, it's like, no, I don't want to retire when I'm 55, 60. I want to as soon as possible. And this is where like, I think for example, the dynamic means is like taking high risk, leading to high reward is more appeasing to me because of the fact of, I don't want to fucking, like, when I was back in the United States, I don't want to fucking work till I'm like 60 years old. I want to try to get this as soon as possible where I can have more freedom to do whatever the fuck I want, but the same thing doing the stuff I love, and maybe someday I get compensated from it. I don't know. But like, even let's talk about that. Even the individuals who retire when they're 75 or 60, 65, and they retired and they have all this nest egg of they've done for the X amount of years, and then whatever happens, they move on the next day, and then they can't even enjoy the shit they reserved. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that, like you work 30 years and you reserve so much of nest egg to finally not work, and you work your ass off for 30 years. And then when the universe says, or God says, it's time to go, you haven't been able to use it. So like all that resources you saved up, you can't use it anymore because it's time to go from this planet. It's now your time to move on. And it's the same thing too. It's just like, okay, we don't know where our time is up, or when it's time for us to go to the next opportunity, if you know what I mean. But like for me particularly, like I being put in this situation where like, for example, like even for like, having a purpose to bring my parents home to here in the Philippines, here in Bohol, because like, that's what they wanted to do. And me, my brother, giving up our lives in the United States. Yes, mine was different, where I turned to be a full-time caregiver to them because, corp life for 14, 15 years, and I get laid off in 2021 and became for 3 years a caregiver for them. I mean, that dynamic changed, but I think it led me to here. Same as my brother, he had a company. He was with a company where he had a good role and he was getting paid a lot, but taking the risk to say, I'm going to give all of it for my parents. That's the most amazing shit ever. Like, I'm happy I did this stuff. And I realized moving to the Philippines, I've told this people plenty of times, moving to the Philippines is probably the best shit that I've ever experienced. Is like when you realize that how fast your life is going and you are able to slow down and realize what's fucking important. That's the best shit out of this. Yes, there's adjustments here. Yes, there's comfortable stuff that you no longer can do. Like, for back in the United States, I talked about this before. I can't go down the street and then just go to a shopping mall and get what the fuck I need. Or I can't go down the street and get a PS5 controller. I have to search for it here. Or best example, I can't buy things immediately. I have to walk to a store. You know what I mean? If you're living in the Philippines, you know exactly what I mean. So like it's stuff like that where you realize like, how fast life is in the United States, and you come here and it slows down, how the dynamics are different. But you look at the perspective of like, okay, what is your purpose in life right now? And one of the purpose of life was, one, bring my parents home. And then two is figure out the solution would be become me and my brother have different views and whatnot, but like the ultimate goal is we're entrepreneurs. We got to figure out a sustainable living here. My number 2 purpose is the podcast. Inspiring individuals like you who are watching me right now to have this belief that you can get the fuck out of the box. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You can do what you can do as long as it's what you think is truth for you. And then get to a position where even though if there are individuals or people where they disagree with what you believe in, but you keep on going. Because that's your belief. That's your trust. That's the thing. If it comes to a point where just like, it's what you firmly believe, regardless how silly it sounds, you keep going. Same thing in this podcast. Like I talked about last week, where my brother was in the United States and people ask, oh, Joe's doing a podcast. Is he making money now? For me, it's, yeah, eventually one day, this will become, it naturally will happen, or, in the sense where like revenue comes out of it. But my driving force is not the money. My driving force is just to inspire individuals to think, fuck, you have a choice that you can do this as well. That you yourself can get out of that box that you're in, unless you're happy doing the shit you're doing where just like, it's not really what you want to do, but you have this amazing talent or passion where maybe you can be a baker. Maybe you can be something that's outside of like, you need to do this because you have to do this because it's your choice. I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't care about what you really want to do. You got to do this. And that's where like the situation where it's just like, believing enough in yourself and what you're going to be at, regardless of what people think. It may take time. Yes, there's responsibilities you got to take. I understand that. There's times and moments in life where universe or God or whatever have you is putting you in situations where you feel like you're spread super thin. We all been through that. November has realized a lot of that, where it's just like how much of a responsibility it is for one person to manage 2 parents in the Philippines who are in their late 70s. How much of a challenge it is, even if we have people who are helping us and caregivers, but the management of overall driving, all that stuff, being on top of certain individuals to make sure they're doing the right shit. Yeah, it's a challenge for 2 people. And this is why, like I was mentioning back in November, where like, yeah, we didn't do as much as in November because we're so busy making sure priorities. And I get it. Going back again, a lot of people have priorities. I mentioned this many times. A lot of people have priorities of what they need to do and they have to do it, blah, blah, blah. That shouldn't stop you from what you should be doing, as in your purpose, your why. If you think you have a why, maybe you have this amazing voice talent that's your why, that you want to share with many people. That shouldn't stop you. Yes, there's responsibilities. I get it. Deal with your responsibilities, but it should not block your purpose. It should not block what you want to do. Take care of responsibilities. Responsibilities always be there. Like even the situation where it feels like it's the worst shit ever, and you are thinking about stuff that maybe you shouldn't be thinking about. Like, gotta realize it's just temporary. And what I mean by temporary is like eventually you're gonna be able to manage it better, and then everything is not as bad as you think. Yes, there are some moments in life where things happen where you're like, yeah, things happen, but you just have to be resilient. Be resilient till you get to a point where you're just like, you're you're at least working 1% better every day, where you're getting to a point where it's just like, it's better. So going back to what I'm saying is like, if you have this talent or focus or gift, you have this idea, keep on working on it. Yes, take care of responsibilities. But eventually, when you keep on working on it and you have this belief that I'm going to do this shit while taking care of responsibilities, please believe when you stop ignoring those people that saying you can't do any of this stuff, you must work on this. When you stop ignoring it, but take care of responsibilities, you'll notice that this happens. And this is what you're doing now. But it all just takes belief. It just takes belief. So like, I'm no different than you. I'm really not. I am no different than you. I know you can do this as yourself. You definitely can. The people who are listening to me on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, watching me on YT, watching me live here, whether you're in here with me or watching me on FYP, you can do this shit yourself. And honestly, whatever you think I am, like, what makes any difference? I'm just a regular human being as you. Yes, you may not have the best equipment, you may not have the best tools, but you have a phone, you can go live, you can record yourself and post content. What stops you? And then please believe, and you believe in yourself so much, you'll see the things you acquire eventually where, oh shit, it actually works out. Like I talked to you, getting the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I was originally going to use it for vlogs on YT and then short form content and TikTok, and then came to realize that attention spans are very short for what I was trying to do. So put this away for a couple months, and then my iMac, when I ended up going to the Philippines, I didn't realize that I should bring my iMac the first stop. I left it there because I thought I'm going to come back someday, and that never happened. Coming back to the United States. So I had to wait a bit until I got this 2 years later, and it still works as a fucking champ, and look where we are now. So I always believe things happen for a reason, to get you ready for this moment. So me getting the resources to put all this stuff together with the webcam, aka my DJI Osmo Pocket 3, having this equipment together, having my iMac, it was the right time to do it. And then from this moment also too, working on eventually, I have to pay $100 to get a virtual audio mixer to put everything together so it works. And then that solves me using a mixer here, my Mac. It's a Mac related issue. Because if I was on the PC, I wouldn't have this issue because I would probably have a way to do it. But on Macs, for some odd reason, you can't play desktop audio with a mic without having something like something in the middle to push it in there. So that's where we're at. So anyway, just like, I'm happy where we've gone. If you got anything out of this, it's just like looking at my progression from where we started to where we are now. We made it tons, and believe me, there's a lot more to go. So for the people who've been with me for a long time, or the people who are listening to me right now, like, appreciate you following me, whether it's here on TikTok, whether it's over in YT, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever it is. Enjoy my content, because there's a lot more. There's a lot more installed. Once we figure out, it's a simple solve. Once I get Loopback with the $100 app, the audio mixer, virtual audio mixer. Once I have that, then we kind of are able to do what I want to do. What the end goal is, multi-platform stream from 2 locations for now. We'll figure out if we do more, but I think 2 is more than enough. I definitely want to stay here as long as I can here on TikTok, because this is where we started. I made a lot of friends here on TikTok, so of course I want to stay here. But also too, you have to branch out. Again, what I mentioned in the beginning, it's just like, if you are in a position you feel this is what you want to do, then, or you're a podcaster or a singer, then you want to be bigger than what you are in TikTok, then you gotta think bigger than TikTok, right? You gotta be thinking bigger than TikTok. If you think you can be successful here on TikTok, just stay one avenue, then do it. But for me, as a podcaster, it'd probably be a little bit difficult to be just a podcaster in TikTok. I have to branch out and do other shit somewhere else, and that's what I'm doing. We might go to other streaming platforms. You know what the streaming platforms are? The purple and There's the green app. We're not ready for that because we'll see how far we go with that, but we'll see. But I mean, again, just believe in your, I think what I'm trying to say is believe in your craft part. You gotta believe in your craft. Believe in what you are doing. Don't give a fuck what people are telling you that you can't do this, because maybe they don't understand what you want, or maybe they're too afraid to let you go when you no longer have any content related to them. It happens. Take me example. It has happened plenty of times where I no longer talk to people because we don't have anything to talk about anymore. We no longer jive doing the same shit anymore. But anyway, just like, I think sometimes that's like, some people will disagree with me or agree, but that's the reason why people go in and out of your life, because they no longer think you're dynamic. But the great, amazing thing of it is like this: you may lose a lot of people, but the new people that you meet are more aligned to you, more in line in your craft. Those are the people that you can get up level from. Those are the individuals that keep you going to say, Joe, keep on doing the fuck you're doing because you're freaking amazing at it. Those are the people that at this point in time, where you are right now, are gonna fit your dynamic. So at the end of the day, just keep on going, do what you're doing. Look how far we talk. It's like, this has been amazing, another amazing podcast. And I love what we're doing now, because it's like, look, I'm looking at my quality and it looks freaking amazing. So, you know, it's amazing to talk about that. Now, we talked so much about our progression of here, and it's a freaking amazing. And I'm happy you're all here, or people who are in FYP watching me. You're here for a reason, to get inspired somehow, and hope my experiences have showed you enough where it's just like, fuck, I can do this shit too. Just believe in it enough, and then please believe the people, places, the things, the resources that you want to do. Chichi wants me to go live with her. We will try. Let me do my podcast first. But I think for the most part, it's just like, you know, just believing in it. Keep on moving forward, and believe it enough where people, if they disagree with you and they say that's not for you, then you know that in your heart, this is what you want to do. Believe it, you're going to get somewhere. The things, the resources, blah, blah, blah. When you actually get to a point where I'm at right now, like, holy shit, all this shit works together now. It makes sense why I bought it, or makes sense why I meet these people. It's because of the fact of like, it was meant to happen. It was meant to occur. All this stuff around me was meant to be where it's supposed to be. So that's where, you know, I hope you take this information from me, which is like, wow, this is inspirational stuff. This is stuff that I need to hear. This is stuff that, because that's exactly what I want from all this. It's just like to inspire people like you. To inspire people like you to think out of the box, to be like, I'm bigger than this freaking fucking box I'm in. And being uploaded and inspired, just like, fuck, I'm gonna do the things I want to do. And watch me do it. And that is what I see I'm going to start doing. And also, one more thing I'm going to tell you, don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just know you're going to get there. See what your end goal is, and know what that is. So yeah, inspiring talk we had tonight. Now, what do I have to do tomorrow? So here's the thing, like, as an adjustment here in the Philippines, like, I have to go on a finding prescriptions far away from me. So like, here's the thing, like, I have to look for a certain prescription, and it's not available around me in Bohol, or not available around me in Tagbilaran City. I live in Tagbilaran, I live in Pangla Island. It's nowhere near me. And I think for prescriptions right now, I get all my prescriptions, and it looks like it's other places too, but I usually get my prescriptions from Mercury. There's a shortage, I guess, of like, I think because of the stuff that's been happening with the typhoons and whatnot, there's been delays, because usually they get their stock from Manila. So there's big delays of, like, you know, where they're getting stuff, and there's certain prescriptions that we need to get that it's not in the vicinity of us. So one of the prescriptions, I found out that through going through Mercury and all the places that I get my prescriptions, it is available here. However, this is the only place that has it, and it's 2 hours away. So that's one of the challenges here, like, you know, for prescriptions here in the Philippines. Like, it can be a pain in the ass to find prescriptions, because, you know, no one has stock of it, or you have to go distances to grab it. So that's the challenge I have, where, like, you know, for example, I need to basically drive 2 hours east to where is it? It's to a municipality that's in the far east of Bohol, because they're the only place that has it. So we're gonna do a trek around 10 o'clock to do that, and we'll probably get there afternoon. And I'm having my dad go with me because of the fact of just like that's a far drive going to something far east from where we're at, because where we're located in Bohol, we're in southwest. We're in Panglao Island. Where I have to go is far east, along the coast, far east, to get there. So we have to do that tomorrow. That's 2 hour drive. It's probably equal distance to like from where I live right now to, our province house up north. It's about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. So we got to do that tomorrow to see. I already have it reserved, but it's just like, that's one of the things you have to do here in the Philippines, where sometimes, like if I was probably in Manila or I was in like the nearest metropolitan is Cebu for me, I wouldn't have this fucking problem, but I'm in Bohol. So like, that's one of the adjustments I had here, where it's just like, you may have challenges finding certain things you need and you have to go distances to do that. So that's what I have to do tomorrow. Again, one of the adjustments, like in United States, there's always a way to get your prescriptions. Hi, Moisak too. How are you? There's always a way to get prescriptions in the United States. It's easier to get, and you can get shipped to you, mailed to you. Here in the Philippines, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to go find where it is. So, with the help of the people I have, like in the Mercury drugs I go to, like they give us direction. They're able to tell me. It's like, hey, do you know if there's any other places around here that have it? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's here, but it's far away. So like I have to go that far, about 2 hours east in Bohol. JC, what's up, brother? How are you? Thank you for the heart, me. Appreciate you. You have to go far east to do that. So that once I wake up in the morning, we got to do that. So that's my job for tomorrow. We'll probably be back. I'm gonna try to wake up at 7 so we can leave by 10, get there by 12, and then have lunch there with my dad, and then come back here, and we back by 3-4 o'clock. So in terms of this being uploaded, we'll probably upload it by tomorrow night. Anyway, again, a wonderful podcast, and we're doing it in this quality. Freaking amazing. I want to say thank you for the folks who've been here since the beginning. Yes, I can get dense as fuck. I know that, but it's inspirational talk for you. Inspirational talk for JC to hear me every day. Just like, man, if there's one person you're going to learn from, it's probably going to be Joe. Because Joe will pull you in the face of what you can do and what you should put yourself towards if you want to get to where you want to be at. Or just like other individuals who come in and are seeing me like, wow, like I want to be like Joe. I want to be just like him. Maybe not a podcaster. Maybe I want to do something that's very monumental. Maybe it's something that's not even like social media, but it's like you want to do this profession, but you're too damn afraid. Well, I hope this makes you realize that you're more than capable of doing anything. And when you believe it enough, you'll see how everything gets put together in this puzzle, where you get, at one point it feels like as if it filled one puzzle, but it actually fits a much bigger picture. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I absolutely did. We talked for almost 2.5 hours. Looking at the runtime. Thank you again for the people coming here. Thank you for the love that I received from in gifts and whatnot. Thank you for the heart me's. Much absolutely appreciated. Thank you for the people who are hanging out with me from the beginning. Again, it is not about me. I'm not here to do this. Of course, yes, to make something monetary of this, of course, yes, who wouldn't? But that's not my main focus. My main focus is to inspire you. It's not about me, it's about you. It's about how you're gonna do. Maybe you get inspired some way, and then you inspire other people to look up to you like, damn, I can do the same thing that JC did, or dang, I can do the same thing as other people who are listening to me right now. I can do the same thing, and then bam, you do what you do, and then look, your other people are saying the same shit about like, wow, I'm gonna be just like that guy. Talk the talk and walk the talk. You do it or you talk. Exactly. Anyway, it's been an honor and pleasure to talk to you guys again. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Again, you can find my podcast here, obviously here on TikTok. We do it live on TikTok, but you can find me also on YT at Joe Lobo Presents. Also find it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. Joe Lobo Presents Authentic Podcast. You can actually put this in a search and you'll find where it goes. Please do that. Give me a follow there. I appreciate you do. Again, honor and pleasure for you guys listening to me. My name is Joe Lobo. We've come to the end. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for inviting me. I do appreciate you. You all have a great, wonderful night, morning, afternoon, wherever the heck you are. Thank you so much for listening to me. You guys have a great night. Take care.